Hi, I'm Matt Richmond, and welcome to PH1 News.
And I'm Jennifer Catanzaro, and this is a place where you're going to find out all the latest news, student stars, and thumbs up and downs of music and movies.
Our first story of the day is to let you at home get to know how we bring you this program. Here's our very own PH1 News reporter, Catherine Cruz, with TV production.
The TV production class is one of Port Huron High School's most unusual classes. The students learn the basics of taping, editing, and producing videos. They are also in charge of the morning announcements. They've built a new set with the PH1 logo, designed and painted by their own art teacher, Mr. Magnuson. The students are also required to go on remotes, which means they tape sports and city events for Channel 6. The second-year students work with more advanced equipment at the Channel 6 station during the 5th and 6th hours. Students, check out this new class at Port Huron High School.
In our next segment, producer Matt Foltz spotlights the Port Huron High School band.
Hello, my name is Robert Spencer. Some people may know me as Roji, and I am going to show you a little bit about the band. They're very interesting. They have won many awards throughout years, some national, and we're going to show you just a little bit about them. I'm Jason Kermans, and I'm the drum major of the Big Red Marching Machine. I currently play trumpet in the concert band, and my responsibilities include leading the band on the field, conducting, and things of that sort.
I'm Rob Amy. I'm president of the band. I play trombone. Right now I'm sitting in the first chair. I hope I am. And my duties include doing a lot of the clerical work for the band and stuff as president.
I'm Beth Hedges-Berg. I'm section leader for the flute section, and my job is basically to get my section to do what I want them to do, and to help out in other sections to make sure they are marching right.
Hi, I'm Rachel Morris. I'm drum major for the band with Jason. I also play the flute during concert season, and I play the piccolo during marching, so I'm not conducting. Responsibilities of drum major include being a leader for the band and conducting songs for marching season and marching and helping people learn pictures and things like that.
is your favorite part of band?
I'd say my favorite part of band is the friendships that you have. You get a lot of friends in band. You get real close with some people. And another thing is the music. I love music, and that's the big thing in band. The pep band's the best. You just play out loud.
I like the friendships too. They're pretty cool. I get into music a lot, and it's a way for me to spend my time. Cut man stuff.
I like any form of expression, so music is the major one, and it lets me express myself, especially in concert band. It's because I enjoy it, and I enjoy doing stuff with marching band and being a major and things like that. So I think those are my favorite parts of band. My favorite part to band probably would be marching season, and because I think there's no bigger thrill than watching the clock cut down until you go off, and then being able to show off what you can do.
Hi, my name is Robert Spencer, and I'm Matthew Foltz. And we hope you enjoyed our time showing you about the Port Huron High School marching machine. May I just say that as a DJ, I know the importance of how songs sound together, how well they mix. I've never personally experienced another high school band that does such a great job of mixing their songs and playing them.
That's right, man. They are the absolute best in the area, maybe in the nation.
Quite possibly.
Quite possibly. I won't go world because I haven't heard any Australian bands yet, you know. But
Okay, and as we always say in Big Red Country, let's
Go Big Reds!
And now for the question of the week.
On each edition of PH1, we're going to be having a question of the week. This week's question is, if you knew that this was going to be your last day on Earth, what would you do?
Today was the last day on Earth. I would probably try to spend it much the same way as I am now. Trying to do the right things and enjoying each day and enjoying my life, and particularly my family, my job, and the things that are important to me. So hopefully I wouldn't have to have a lot of reconsideration of the things I do each day.
First thing I do is pray to God that I go to heaven. My second thing is I would go with Tupac. We would go around the world to the West Side.
I guess I go to the beach and go scuba diving or sailboating or surfing and spend my last day on the beach with my girlfriend.
If this were the last day of my life, I have to do everything that I've never done before. Different things. Because you know how when you're dying, you want to do everything that minute. Skydive, scuba diving, things you've never experienced before.
In this next program, we're spotlighting Miss Shimko and her unique program.
My guest today is Miss Shimko at Port Huron High School. She's an English teacher here. Welcome, Mrs. Shimko.
Thank you.
Describe to us the project you have your kids do in writing children's books.
Well, in the fall, it's one of our first projects for my 9th grade writing from literature students, and I have them analyze children's books, and then we go about creating children's books for the students and for our library here at Port Huron High School. And we invite, at the conclusion of the assignment, in the spring, we invite Roosevelt Elementary students over here for a reading of our books.
This sounds like a really creative idea. How'd you come up with the idea for doing this?
Well, actually, I can't take full credit for that. Last fall, being a new teacher here at Port Huron High School, Mr. Magnuson, our art teacher, approached me about would I like to collaborate in writing children's books, having my students write the books and then his students illustrate them. And that's how it came into be. So actually, I can't take credit for it.
Okay, describe to us what your students do for this project.
Okay, first we go about and we analyze different books that some of the students are familiar with, like Dr. Seuss, and classic stories, you know, like The Three Bears, that kind of thing. And then after we analyze the books and see how the authors put them together, then I have them create their own books, and we come up with suitable ideas and themes like friendship, loneliness, or how to learn how to do something. And after they get their theme or their idea that they'd like to write about, then we did some mind mapping and came up with a plot, characters, setting, and sometimes conflicts. And then they go about, and right now they're drafting their books, and so they should be just about in the final stage. So we go through the process of writing, and it gives them a good opportunity to learn about those elements in literature, you know, plot, setting, theme, characters, conflict.
Last week, I heard that you had an author come in to speak to your kids for ideas. Tell me a little about that.
Okay, I was very lucky to, Michelle Burnett came in to speak to my 9th grade students about how she wrote a book. She's a published author, a local author, and it was kind of a neat thing. She brought in her book, Mystery at Loon Lake, and described how the story came to be, and how she revised it and changed it. At first it was for a 6th grade audience, and then she changed the book to a 4th grade audience, and so she had to make some adjustments, just like my students have to do with their own writing, because their books are geared for lower elementary students. And she also talked about how her sister illustrated the book for her, and that was kind of neat. So I think the students got something out of that, seeing how a real author gets published, and she had a lot of helpful tips for the students too.
Lost my train of thought. For doing the illustrations, does your class do the illustrations, or does your students?
My students don't do the illustrating for the most part. If a student feels very strongly about how they would like to illustrate their book, they're allowed to do that, but it's a very time-consuming element of the story, and to make it a collaborative thing, Mr. Magnuson's students will choose books that they want to illustrate, and they do the illustrating for the most part. They don't even start illustrating until 2nd semester, and that's very much how a real children's book author usually does not meet the illustrator or have any input. My students will be writing a letter to the art students and explaining what they thought their book might be, picture their characters, that kind of thing, and then hopefully they'll get a rough sketch. Last year the illustrator sent a rough sketch of what the characters look like, and so the students really got a kick out of that.
Have your students, any of them, decided to publish or think about publishing any of their children's books?
Well, actually, we did publish them here. Mr. Magnuson and I put the books together, laminated, bound them, and they are now, you can check them out of our library. And we also shared them with the Roosevelt students, and we hope to do that again. So we're building our children's lit section in this library. As far as publishing to a professional company, we're checking into that this year. Last year was the first year for the project, so we learned a lot of do's and don'ts. And so this year, and Michelle Burnett was very helpful with that. She gave us a couple of books where we can look for publishers that do just specifically children's books. So we'll try. We'll take a few of the best ones and try and get them professionally published. Although I had someone offer to buy a book last summer when they saw the books, they wanted to buy one for their daughter. So it was kind of neat.
Yeah. Tell me a little about how you were talking about you have some of the kids from Roosevelt come in. What is that all about?
Well, that's kind of a closure to the project. In the end of May or beginning of June when the weather gets nice, we invited some Roosevelt students. Last year it was Mrs. Wilson's first grade class and Mrs. White's second grade class to come in and share our books with them. And we had reading groups and they went around, and we had the students, my students, put a reception together with food and drink and accompanied the elementary students in small groups to different reading centers that we had in the media center, and it was really neat. And then when they returned to their school, Roosevelt, it was kind of neat because they wrote us letters back about how much they enjoyed it, and I think everybody got a big kick out of it.
That's good. I'd like to thank you, Mrs. Shimko, for having you on the show today.
Thanks.
And we'd like to thank you for watching. See you next time.
Matt, the Lighthouse is celebrating a special event this year. Do you know what it is?
No, Jenny, but I bet I will after I watch this next segment.
1996 is an important year for the Lighthouse. The Port Huron High School newspaper is celebrating its 75th year of student press. The first issue of the Lighthouse was published in 1921. It continues to be a valuable form of student expression and publishing today. Students write stories in all areas of journalism, including editorials, news, entertainment, sports, and feature articles. The students are also responsible for publishing tasks like layout design, art and graphics, comics, and photography. The most unique aspect of the paper is that it is completely self-funded by advertising, patrons, and class fundraisers. The Lighthouse has an award-winning style. Last year, we received a first place with Special Merit Award, the highest award possible from the American Scholastic Press Association. The Lighthouse provides a rare opportunity for students to gain real-world experience in journalism. The staff gets hands-on experience. The class is set up like an operating newsroom, not just like a classroom. The 1996-97 Lighthouse staff is headed by 8 editors. Raina Marcuse is the editor-in-chief.
The news section is where we place our stories of great importance. It is on the first page where we try to grab the reader's eye. This year, the Lighthouse is using headings from past issues, some from the 1920s, 50s, and 70s, to show our readers how we have evolved through the years.
Kendra Warsala is the editorial editor.
I'm in charge of the most controversial section in the newspaper. We encourage students in Port Huron High to write in and give their opinions. We have an editorial policy to keep responsible journalism.
Mandy Heacock is the assistant editor-in-chief, in charge of the feature section, our largest and most compelling section of the Lighthouse.
The feature section includes student and staff profiles, school events, and other articles that affect students.
Emily Nicholson is our sports editor.
The sports section is where we write about our winning teams. We print the recent scores of all the athletic events as well as exciting articles and interviews.
Our photography editor is Jose Pena.
Hi, I'm the photographer here at the Lighthouse School newspaper, and I'm in charge of taking pictures for news articles, sporting events, and for the serial photo collage that we put on the back of our newspaper every month.
Our creative and talented entertainment editor is Charlie Langoff.
Hi, I'm Charlie. The entertainment section is a great section. It allows us all to kick back and laugh a little. We do comics, horoscopes, and concert reviews and such.
Our advertising and business editor is John Maxbauer.
Thank you for your support. We at the Lighthouse feel that it's very unique because we're totally self-funded through ads, patrons, and class fundraisers.
The Lighthouse circulates 1,000 copies monthly throughout the school and the city of Port Huron. The papers are free to interested readers.
We wish the Lighthouse a happy 75th year!
So thanks for watching, and until next time.
Have a great week.